Bella from AquaZone here. So in today's video, I'd like to talk about Betta Tank mates. What's the best fish to put with your Betta fish? It doesn't matter really what size aquarium. We're just going to talk about the best tank mates to interact with your Betta fish. Now, if you followed me for a while, you probably know that I've been very adventurous with my Betta fish. I went as far as putting them with discus fish. I made a whole tank full of bettas, which was females, males, babies, everything was in that tank, and that was great and successful. But for everyone that doesn't want to be that adventurous with a betta and wants to stay on the safe side of having a betta that doesn't get into problems, let's start with 3 categories of types of fish that you can put with your betta. We'll start with mid-level swimmers, fish that will basically just swim in the middle level of your aquarium. You know, the best, according to me, and that's a bit of a no-brainer, and I'm sure you kind of know that already, is neon tetras and cardinal tetras. They kind of look alike, but the cardinal tetra is slightly bigger and has a full line of red at the bottom, and the neon tetra, well, they come in different variants. You have the albino, the black, the green albino. I mean, every variant is good with your betta fish. They like to be in schools of 6 or more, so I suggest that for the school, because if they're less than 6, like let's say 4 or 2 or just 1, they'll be so stressed. It doesn't even take a betta to kill them. Another fish in the tetra category would be the amber tetra. They'll stay tiny, like less than an inch, and they look fabulous. They're pretty red, so they look really good in a betta aquarium. They like to school, same as the neon. They're a tetra. They need to be 6 or more. Close to the amber tetra, you have the ruby red tetra, which also, as they grow, get kind of like reddish, kind of like my shirt, but a little more pale. Also in a school 6 or more. You got the gold tetra. It's a tetra, the same shape pretty much as the neon tetra, but they're gold and silver. They stay about an inch of length, maybe a little bit more with time. It depends on your tank size. Like some fish just stay smaller in smaller tanks. We're not talking about goldfish though. What else? Mid-level swimmers, there's guppies. Also a no-brainer completely. The only thing with guppies is I suggest you get guppies with shorter fins, because if a betta sees long flashy fins, they might confuse and think it's another male in their territory, which will not end so well for your long fin male guppy. You could get antler tetras. Antler tetras do amazing with your betta because they have shorter fins, they're less flashy, they're fast. All these fish that I've named so far are really quick. So even if he feels like having a snack, he ain't gonna get it. Let's move on to top level swimmers. In this category, top level swimmers, I mean, guppies are kind of in that category because they do tend to stay on the top. But something that really interacts well with a betta is the marbled hatchet fish. And I specify marbled because it's a smaller variant, about an inch and a half. Because if you get like the silver one, they get pretty big, and you know, the only thing is that if ever your marbled fish is spooked, they have a tendency to jump. So have a lid or diminish your water level so they don't jump out of your aquarium if they're ever spooked by your betta. They like to be in the schools, so 6 or more, and yeah, they do amazing with betta fish. I've never actually seen a betta fish launch for a marbled hatchet fish. Nah, never in history. Okay, so let's move on to bottom swimmers. Some things you might already know. Otocinclus, the very small cleaner fish. It kind of looks like a Pleco, but it's not a Pleco. They're small catfish. They do amazing job on algae. They stick to your glass. They're kind of fragile, so be wary of having really good water chemistry. If you have a tank that's like 10 or more gallons, I suggest also the bristlenose Pleco. They do well, they clean amazingly, they never really go for the betta. In that case, you should worry more about the Pleco going after the betta than vice versa. Just quick anecdotal story, I had a client that put a betta with one of those giant Plecos, and guess what happened? The Pleco went for the betta. So, in the safe zone Plecos, you also have the clown Pleco, which is a really nice small pleco, like this big, about 2-3 inches maximum. They stay quite short and they get a little fat, but they're not so good on algae, so don't get necessarily that pleco for algae because they're not so good at it. They just eat excess food. So what do we have for, so for bottom swimmers, cleaners, we also have corridors. Most corridors, it really depends your tank size. If you want to stay in the nano, I would suggest the pygmy corries, very small. They stay like about an inch big. If you have a bigger tank, anything but maybe the robustus or other variants that get like 3-4 inches big, anything under 2 inches in the corridora specimen is very good. Corridors, just as your tetras, need to be 6 or more. They like to be in a group, so give them a good school of 6 or more. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah, that's the fun stuff. Okay, let's get into the fun stuff. Bottom swimmers, you can also have the bumblebee catfish, which is a tiny catfish. They like to stay in the wood and just, you know, make their life in the wood. They come out sometimes at night or for feeding, but other than that, they stay small, they're quiet, they won't attack your betta. It's great. You also have the neon blue goby. Amazing cleaners. The only thing that I would say maybe that wouldn't match a betta aquarium is that they like a bit of flow and bettas don't like flow. But interaction betta and the neon blue goby, it's amazing because they're very small and they're really good cleaners of algae. Now we are in the category of other scavengers that are not fish, meaning snails and other invertebrates. Let's start with snails. We have mystery snails. Mystery snails always do well with bettas. They're big. If ever the betta wants to bite at it, it's really too big to be much fun for them. They're good cleaners. They eat your dead plants. They eat excess food. They do need calcium supplementation, so don't forget to sprinkle a bit of calcium powder if you know that your water is doesn't contain enough calcium, because as they grow pretty big, like $2, well, a Canadian $2, I guess not an American $2, but like this big, okay? They do need calcium to build their shell, so that would be a good option. Also, you have the rabbit or the lava snail, which are really pretty snails. Like they have like this orange fleshiness to them, and the shell is nice and round, like elongated actually. Like it's a really nice snail. They're not amazing for algae, but they're really good for detritus, and with the betta, it's an amazing match. Other snails that like are uncovered would be like the ram's horn snail, the Malaysian trumpet snails. Those two are good for just eating detritus. The Malaysian trumpet snail actually digs into the substrate and cleans all the stuff inside the substrate. And they both self-regulate their population depending on how much detritus you have in your aquarium. So when it comes down to shrimps, there's certain shrimps I do recommend and certain that I don't. And the ones that I do recommend 100%, though everything will be fine, I recommend the Amano shrimp. Amano shrimp have a good size and they're very peaceful, they're good on the algae, and the betta will not go for it. Now, on what I don't recommend necessarily, and this is up to you to take that chance or not, are like the fancier ones, like the cherry shrimps, the crystal shrimps, like all the fancy variants of the Neocardina, because they're quite small. But the adults might make it very well, and their fry could be just live food for your betta. That could be an amazing biotope. So it's really up to you if you want to chance it, because I know they're a little bit more expensive than the Amano sometimes, and it's not like 100% thing, but you could try it. There won't be nothing wrong done to your betta in this scenario. But if you do get like things like ghost shrimp or vampire shrimp, then they might try to snack at your betta. They're quite a bit more aggressive, and on top of it, ghost shrimp like colder waters and a bit of salinity in the water, so this is not something that goes with a betta. And that will be a wrap. So now you know what tank mates to put or not to put with your betta. I thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not already subscribed, feel free to hit the subscribe icon and the bell button to get my latest notification. And leave me a comment below just so we can interact if you have any questions. Like the video if you liked it. Alright, see you soon. Bye!